Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm going to make a very quick card for you today. It's all I do at the moment because it's just how we're rolling. I'm going to use my pink stamper, Simply Sweet Occasion, for the hugs. And this is a very old stamp set. She doesn't make her stamps anymore. So yeah, it's years old, but I like the sentiments in them. I'm also going to use Lawn Fawn's Love You Small for the small part of the sentiment. And that's also a very old stamp set. I then have Lawn Fawn's Smiley Small. So guess what we're doing. And I'm going to show you how to put this guide together. I've never put it together before. I had to do a little fiddling with the sticky part of it, which I'll show you in a minute, just to make life a little easier when it comes to putting these die cut pieces together, but I'll give you that tip in a minute. And then I have my stamp, obviously, and I also have some cardstock pieces here, which we'll get to in a minute. So I think first let's put him together and then we can put the rest of it together. So these are all the little pieces. There's not too many little pieces, but I will need one of these things. Now if you don't have one of these, I got this off Amazon. I go there for just about everything, but this is kind of a jewellery, like nail jewellery kind of thing. It's basically got like it's not even a sticky end, but it helps you pick up tiny pieces, and then it's just got another end that you can help move things around. It's very, very handy. Can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it's basically like a picking up tool, pick up stick tool type thing. You'll need that because there's some little pieces like you can see here. So for this main body, which is the solid die, so it looks like that when you've cut it out. What I did was I actually cut it out of black cardstock, and then I used some double-sided, I used the Sticks 2 brand, double-sided adhesive, and I cut it out again, but just big enough so that I didn't waste too much of it. And then I cut off the little arms, and then took one side of it and made sure I was sticking it down the right way, because there is kind of like a right and a wrong way to the sky. So made sure I stuck the right side down, and then used a bone folder just to burnish that so that it makes sure it sticks to it. So this has still got the other side of the backing on it, which we'll take off in a second to reveal the stick, so you can see the sticky there. Okay, so that was just an easy way. So once that sticky's on, I then cut the rest of it, which is in the second die, in different colour cardstock to give me the outline and then all the colours to make up my little schmall. So let's put this together. So it might be easier if I actually, because you can't even see his arms there. Let's see, oh, I'll just use the card base so you can see what I'm doing. And I will, let me zoom in a little more as well. I don't want to get too close, because otherwise, you know, I forget, and you know, then you guys are sort of like, woo. So this has all got the sticky on it. You can kind of see it even as it is like that. And my bin's disappeared. So the first piece I'm going to put on is this outline shape. So I made it the same colour as the legs and the arms, because I figured that's kind of like his outer body. And you're just going to line it up as best you can on here, and just try not to pull too much, because it's quite delicate, and I think if you pull too much, then when you go to lay things in, it's not going to line up quite right. So just be a little delicate with it, and we can burnish it properly afterwards. So that's on there, although, oh, there you go, you can kind of see it there. Nice. So then I have all these other little pieces. I think this might be the, I don't know that these two matter too much. I think this might be this one. Let's see, there's two long pieces. It's two long pieces, and I don't think they're a different size. I think they're the same sort of size. And we're just going to pop them in. Yeah, they are a different size. They're a different length. They're different lengths, so they are different sizes. So this is the bottom one. There you go, that makes more sense. And it just pops in like paper piecing. Really easy, as long as you have the right one. Like I say, I've not done this before. I thought we'd do it together on camera, because, you know, if I'm going to make a boo-boo, hopefully it saves you the hassle. Then there's this funny little piece here that goes in the bottom. And this is creating the biscuit part of the small. And there's this larger piece for the top of the biscuit. And this actually, this is really clever. Oh gosh, sorry. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but there's actually little holes in the top piece. Kind of like the air holes that you get in certain biscuits. I think that's so cute. So we just got to pop that in there. Then we have the chocolate piece. So I made this a dark brown. And it actually goes in really easy, I have to say. And then the fun bit is the marshmallow. I'm a bit of a fan of marshmallows. I love me some marshmallow. And look, really cute. Now, I wouldn't have bothered with the face, like actually adding the face in, if I'd used like a liquid adhesive or something, because, yeah, you know, you don't need to. If the back piece is black or brown or whatever colour you want it, then it doesn't matter. But because I have sticky on the whole thing, I need to put those pieces back in. So I'm going to do that now. Make sure I got it the right way. Again, minus the cat hair that gets everywhere. You guys know that. Yep. And like I say, there is a right and a wrong way, but it should be, whoops, pretty straightforward to stick on there. So before I do the last bit, which is these cute cheeks, I'm just going to burnish this in here and onto that double-sided adhesive. Isn't that cute? Right, I do need some liquid adhesive. This is the only liquid we're going to use. Let's just get these little cheekaroos, if I can. When do I not have adhesive issues, guys? Should have been more prepared. There we go. And I like the cheeks just under the eyes. I know that sounds a little weird, but that's just where I like to put the cheeks on for all these little guys. That's way too much adhesive. Right, so just popping these on. Try and absorb some of that. Now, tell me that isn't cute. Isn't that just super cute? Right, let's put the rest of the card together. So I have my base card, which is, I can zoom out a bit now. So you're not so like, woo. So 8.5 by 5.5, and we're just going to score, I haven't even like scored this one. Should hopefully score or fold fairly well. And it did, not bad. And this is just some Nina Desert Storm cardstock. And then, excuse me, I have my next layer, which is this same chocolatey brown that I have in the small. I'm going to layer that up. And I've just forgotten to do something. So we're going to improvise. Right, that's on there. What I wanted to do was have half of this embossed. So we're going to improvise and actually do our own scoring in case you do not have an embossing folder obsession like most of us, or you don't have a die cutting machine and you don't use embossing folders. So grab your score tool, if I can. And I realise this is going to blind you guys a little. And on here, because I want my sentiment to be in that bottom section, so the first inch-ish of this bottom section, I only want to emboss this top half here. So what we're going to do is we're going to first of all find a line that will work. So let's go across to 3 inches. I'm just going to move that down slightly, and then working back, because this is the part I want to emboss or have those embossed lines. I'm going to go every ½ inch and just score. Right, so like so, you can kind of see it there. Then I'm going to turn this, and I'm only going to go to this 3 inch mark, but again I'm going to do every ½ inch. And that should, yeah, that should work. Improvising. So sometimes improvising doesn't always work. But we will make it work. Beautiful. So now that kind of has that crisscross effect, but on the other side you've got this subtle embossed, raised embossed thing that I kind of think looks a bit like waffles. It's just, you know, and I thought it maybe worked a bit. But I do want to do those lines again. Bear with me. Crash. So I just want to emphasize those lines a bit more. So I'm just going over them again. Just to reinforce them and to just emphasize them a little more. I hope you guys can kind of pick this up. And I'm going to use this side because that, like I say, it looks like waffles. So the other thing you could do, if you were so inclined, is you could actually use a more caramel colour and just lightly ink over the top of that to draw that colour out, or even like a tea dye or a, what's the other one, antique linen distress ink. That will give you that nice look, but we're just going to go with this. So getting this stuck on here. Into place, and because we've embossed, it does kind of, I think I've said this before, it kind of like shrinks the paper. Shrinks. It doesn't actually shrink the paper, but it because of the embossing, it kind of pushes that paper up to give you that effect, so it kind of brings that paper in, so it sort of makes it a little smaller. So it's not totally the right size, but it's enough. And this piece was 3 3/4 by 5, and this one is 4 3/4 by 3.5. To think about it, this is about 1.5 by 4 1/4. So this is going to go all the way across. But what I first want to do is stamp my stamp. And I think I will actually use, going old school, soft suede. It's a nice colour. It's a Stampin' Up! Colour. It's one of my favourite Stampin' Up! Colours. Makes sense because it will work nicely with all the tones that we have here. And I'm just simply going to stamp in this corner. Like that. Small hugs. And actually I took a chance there because sometimes when you've got stamps from different companies, the stamps can be slightly different heights, so that's just something to bear in mind. I didn't even think about it. So we kind of just winged that one. And then getting adhesive on this and then making sure it goes over that line there. And just lining this up across here. And somewhat straight-ish. So that goes all the way across there. And then all we're going to do is pop him up. And that's it. That's less than 20 minutes, but I've been waffling, of course. But really easy. And here's your cute little small hugs. Because doesn't he just look like he wants to hug because he's got his arms open? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that was a fun technique. If you guys have any of these kind of dies from Lawn Fawn, please check them out. They're really, really awesome. And definitely using that double-sided adhesive works a treat. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye for now.